I think this is LeBron's plan. I think he wants to pass up Kareem. If he passes up Kareem in point, we all got to shut the hell up.
If LeBron James end up the #1 scorer of all time, top 5 in assists and top 5 in rebounds, you cannot do nothing but have the conversation of who's the greatest of all time.
The conversation's already happening.
He's 6'8", 285, runs like the wind, jumps out of the gym.
I don't think he's a Michael, I don't think he's a Kobe, I think he's a LeBron.
The guy who's a fast pass first thinker has beaten out 2 dominant scorers.
You don't think of him as that. He doesn't approach the game as that. But when you look at the records, they are that. But who's the best scorer?
It'd be LeBron.
And if you think you know, you don't know. Okay, until you're around him every day, coaching him, you're seeing his mind, you're seeing his adjustments, seeing the way he leads the group. If you think you know, you don't know.
Playing at such a high level, like LeBron is 38, he's doing things at such an elite level. I think sometimes we forget how hard that is.
It makes no sense. You know, you almost take it for granted.
You look at the skill set. There's nobody that has ever played the game of basketball that can do what LeBron James does. Nobody. He's still at the top of the discussion in the year 20.
We're watching LeBron James. This is his time. This is his era, and he's dominating this era.
I look at from the neck up, from a concentration standpoint, and a game planning standpoint, LeBron James is head and shoulders above any of these.
Pressure is the word today, and no other player has had or overachieved like LeBron James did over his NBA career.
I look at LeBron and what he's done is mind-blowing with what he's had to work with. And what I mean by what he's had to work with, LeBron James came straight from high school. He didn't go to college. He's taken every rookie coach he's had to the NBA Finals. So from an educational standpoint and a knowledge base, where did this brain come from? I mean, he's the Einstein of basketball because he can look at your coach, figure out your defensive scheme, he can look at your substitution pattern, then he can come back and put together a game plan, and then he can go out and implement it.
Cavaliers have LeBron James. He's the best there is.
Do you think he's better than Jordan?
Oh yeah. For the moment he walked in the league, his teams won.
You know, very few players, I'm trying to think if there's anybody besides LeBron that has had that combination of speed and size and athleticism. LeBron is, I think, the greatest player to ever play.
Bron started in 03. By 2005, Bron was the best player in the NBA. In 2020, he was still the best player in the NBA. He was the best player in the NBA no matter what the game did.
I mean, what he's doing with his numbers-wise is crazy.
I'm very vocal. I think LeBron is the best player that's ever played the game. When he came in the league, from day one, he knew how to involve his teammates to win. I think LeBron in any generation would be doing what he's doing right now. At the end of the day, I firmly believe that he's the best basketball player in the history of the game.
I was like, how are you a player coach? How's that a thing? But after going to the Lakers, I understand how a player could be a player coach. Not only playing the game, when LeBron plays the games, he's thinking the game too, and he's low-key thinking for 2 other players also. I definitely think like he's more of a player coach than just a player when it comes to just the cerebral part of the game.
It's just crazy how many all-time lists. #1 for minutes, #1 for games played, 9th for three-pointers, 4th for free throws made. It speaks to the versatility of his game, beyond the longevity. He's so good at everything.
LeBron James, to me, when you think about all-around basketball player, he probably is the best of all time, an all-around basketball player.
And he's been the best no matter what. When you look at the teams that Bron has carried to championship or carried to the finals, MJ didn't beat the greatest team ever assembled, nor did he run up against the greatest team ever assembled every year.
Obviously, the numbers that you put up, he's one of a kind. Man, what he's doing has never been done before, so that speaks volumes.
There is no denying like his greatness in terms of what he can do on the court. And like sometimes even when you're playing against him, you're in awe. But overall, just presence and his IQ, like all that stuff, like we all talk about it.
It's hard to be LeBron James because all eyes are on you. But he's handled it extremely well. We gave the keys to the whole entire business to an 18-year-old kid, and now he's 38 years old and he's still dominating. I don't think we should be surprised. I think we should congratulate him and celebrate him as much as possible.
Tremendous that he can still play like this in his year 20. The athleticism is incredible.
For a young guy coming into the league, his strength, his athleticism, his basketball intellect, his feel for the game was just incredible.
I'm gonna address the word pressure. No athlete in the history, not just in basketball, but in history of sports, have had the pressure that LeBron James has had since the age of 16.
To lace him up, to go against him for the first time, you're kind of blown away like this. He has a seasoned game, he has experience, he has a great feel, and he was like the first guy out of high school directly into the NBA who didn't need to ease his way in. I mean, he came in with a big splash, he asserted himself, he let everybody know that he was the real deal.
I definitely think people take it for granted how great he really is, just the things that he's done. He went 9 finals in a row, and if you look at some of those teams, you're like, who else did he have to really help him? It was a lot going on for him to still make it to the finals in those years.
His ability to prepare himself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, game to game, day to day.
I've always believed in LeBron James. He's the greatest player the basketball universe has ever seen.
In my mind, LeBron James is the greatest basketball player who ever lived. LeBron James is the greatest player ever.
That's what I say. I
Greater than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I think so.
Everybody's fight with LeBron is that he doesn't have the killer mentality. I seen that man in the playoffs. He's got the killer mentality, though.
You get used to just championships and accomplishment, period.
LeBron James is probably the greatest basketball player ever.
You know, I always say Michael Jordan is the GOAT. If he really surpasses Kareem in the scoring record, I mean, I'm sort of running out of arguments for Michael. I mean, what this guy has done has been nothing short of incredible. The longevity.
When he's done, his statistical lineup is going to be the greatest that's ever played the game when it comes to scoring, assists, rebounds.
The talent nowadays is way better.
Way different now. It's crazy, Bron's still up there, man.
The greatest scorer, its consistency, its longevity, and its amount. To pass LeBron James in all-time playoff scoring records, somebody is going to have to average 30 points a game and go to like 13 NBA Finals.
I'm not sure we've seen a player like him in my lifetime. Physically, I'm not sure we've seen a package like that.
I think for some people, he's already the greatest.
There's only 4 guys in the history of the game in 75 years that said at one point in time, I was the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. George Mikan, Bob Pettit, Wilt Chamberlain, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has held this record for 40 years.
LeBron he could lead the league in all 5 major statistical categories.
LeBron's the face, man. All records are made to be broken.
4 rings, 4 Finals MVPs, and to be the all-time leading scorer. The man played 20 years and averaged 24.5 points per game for 20 years.
He gonna have 4 rings. You already passed up Kobe, you already passed up Mike, now he passed up Kareem. So if that don't make him the greatest basketball player is, I don't know what we're talking about.
For what LeBron has been able to do and how he can control the game and to do it this long, like going to the finals year after year after year. Bron went 8 or 9 straight.
9 straight.
Like, Bron ain't taking no break. You know what he did? Went again and again and again and again.
With different guys every time.
And again.
LeBron is not as good as Michael Jordan? Come on. What do you think? LeBron is in a class by himself.
He will be the GOAT for a lot of generations.
He shows no signs of slowing down. Congrats to him, but we're gonna be saying this again when he getting to like 40. Just remember I said that. I think he'll be number 1 by the time it's all said and done.
There's always been a player who you can compare somebody to. LeBron James is the first player that I've never seen another player that I can compare to. This is a freak of nature.
I mean, he's like a freak of nature. I mean, this guy, man, he's built like Hercules. I mean, he's 6'8", and I think he weighs like 275 or 280.
In terms of statistics, LeBron is right there. And when you look across the board, not just scoring, check his assists, check his rebounds.
He was a nightmare, even back then, the game plan for him, but a great player right out the gate. Impressive to watch and certainly difficult to prepare for. And I think going on to Miami, joining a culture where there's structured accountability and everything is about winning and winning championships. And so learning and understanding that process, the sacrifice, the discipline, the collective responsibility that goes into winning, he really kind of grew up. And there was a great sort of maturation that occurred there.
LeBron is my GOAT. LeBron is the best player because I feel like, just because you talk about the best basketball player, not the best killer instinct, he can play all 5 positions. The fact that he's done this shit consistently, no drop off at any time.
He is the best all-around player of all time. He's not far.
Oh yeah, there's no question. All right,
I'll give him that.
Do you think LeBron should have gotten the MVP? I mean, if we're talking strictly based off stats, like he checks every
It's him
mark,
every
like,
year, though, in that regard, right? Does anyone do more for one team than LeBron does? But it's boring to give it to him every season. Like, that's
incredible.
Even if LeBron doesn't win another championship, to me, he's still arguably the best player to ever play this game. And then some may argue he's the best player to play this game.
This guy is so smart, but it was a lot of Laker expectations.
Seeing him take this group that was not in the playoffs last year and just taking a group and leading us to the promised land, so they say.
He went back to the state of Ohio, his hometown, and delivered a championship in great fashion. One of the best championships in NBA history. We got to continue to appreciate his greatness while we can, while he's still giving it to us, while he's still playing. When it comes down to Bron, and it comes down to him reaching the milestones and breaking records, and he's going to continue to break records. This is why he's the GOAT. This is not an individual sport. This is a team sport. Sometimes you may do all you can, but your teammates just don't come up.
You do sometimes lose sight of how difficult it is to do all of this when you see it happen as often as we do.
What he has accomplished, the greatest thing I've probably ever seen in sports.
He's playing at that MVP level. I've seen this guy play a lot of years.
He'll be 18 years old, come into the NBA, live up to the hype, never gotten in a stitch of trouble.
Right.
It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life.
He never ceases to amaze me, but sometimes he does,
It's just hard for me to say that he's anything but the top.
He was off and running and was in the finals, it seemed like every year for a good portion of his career.
The total body of work where LeBron James is as a basketball player.
I think in terms of points, it's a big credit to him, as not just as a player, but as a person, is the assists. That's a big part of who he is.
I think he's a rarity in that he can not only facilitate, but go get you rebounds and also score the ball.
So LeBron passing 2 more Hall of Famers. This is on the assist list. Fly under the radar a little bit when you're talking about passing Kareem, but it is impressive as well.
His vocal leadership.
He's a very, very special athlete, and I think for now we need to appreciate that watching him and at the level he's playing at.
LeBron James' chapter is not closed yet. He still has some basketball to play.
The record's definitely made to be broken. I feel like he's the closest to doing that.
The best that I've seen, he's the best.
You should go out there and play like it's your last night. Play like your last second of the game. Play like your last second of practice. And I might be good right now, but there's somebody out there working hard as I am, trying to get better than LeBron, because they see I'm number 1. So I like to share the wealth, I just don't like getting all this for myself. It's all about the team. And I can't win by myself, 5-on-1, no matter how good I am. If I go out there by myself, they can beat me easily.
Every night I go on the court, I approach it that way. Like, I continue to get better every year. I continue to bust my butt in off season to get ready for a season to go into June. So I look forward to us competing for an NBA championship this year.
This is a dream come true for me, and I've been putting in a lot of work to get to this point, and I'm happy that this dream has become a reality.
I do know one thing, that Father Time is undefeated, but right now I'm not facing that wall, and I'm gonna just try to maximize my career, maximize what I can do individually and for my team, as long as I got the opportunity to do it.
For me personally, I
I have a way that I play the game. I have a way that I lead. I have a way that I challenge my guys and challenge myself. But more importantly, at the end of my career, I just hope I made a lot of people proud.
Coming to the end of the third quarter. LeBron James, a shot at history. LeBron stands alone. The NBA's all-time scoring record now belongs to LeBron James.
Everybody that's ever been a part of this run with me the last 20 years, 20 plus years, I just want to say I thank you so much because I wouldn't be me. All y'all passion, all y'all sacrifices helped me get to this point. I thank you guys so much for allowing me to be a part of something I've always dreamed about.
It's been a pleasure and an honor so far in my career within these 20 years. Through the ups, through the downs, through the ins and outs, through the trials and tribulations, I've always maintained me.
Cleveland! This is for you!
I've done it my way. I didn't want to emulate anybody. I wanted to be myself.